international agreement, Turkey set up its own observation post.
Countries have been on the verge of direct military conflict over the past few weeks. Now they're trying to negotiate.
Welcome back, everybody. Today's March 5th, 2020. We take a look at what's going on in Syria on the front line politically. We actually have a ceasefire that is going to be instated here in like probably 2 hours or so. Before we get into that, though, the reason I've been gone for a couple days, if you've been following my Instagram, you know why, or Discord. I've been traveling from Michigan to central U.S. as my first van trip. It's actually to go and visit one of the YPG guys that I met out there. We became pretty good friends. So you've probably seen his face in a couple videos. I've been looking into the Rojava conflict for the last 2.5 years. Big name. He's got documentaries coming out, and yeah, I'll probably be talking to him tomorrow, hopefully in an interview setting, and bring you guys along for that. Anyway, let's get back into the Syrian civil war. Taller font, we have no news at all. I pretty much just want to get to Idlib. So, Idlib, we have some bombings, but skirmishes have ceased. And this is because the Assad regime has taken the entirety of the M5 highway. Over the last couple of days, they've been fighting for Seraqib, which was that last little pocket that the rebels had retaken, and they needed it to complete the M5 highway. Well, they took it. They're still getting bombed, but no skirmishes whatsoever. At 12 o'clock midnight tonight, on March 6th technically, is going to be when the ceasefire occurs. Will that mean that it's just going to be artillery bombardments? Will that mean that it's like nothing at all? In Rojava, it meant, pretty much nothing. It meant the fighting was still occurring, but it wasn't going to be Turkish-backed, or it wasn't going to be Russian-backed. It was just like between the FSA and the YPG. I'm not too sure what the ceasefire is going to mean, other than Turkey and Russia not firing on each other. So either way, big news in Idlib, and it's just so weird to look back at the ground that was taken since December. Here's the map, actually, and I mean, this is half the territory that the FSA, the HTS, the Turks controlled in Idlib, and it's been taken in less than 2.5 months. Really crazy stuff. And now that the Assad regime, with the help of the Russians, have taken the M5 highway, right when they recaptured Seraqib, making it so they control 100% of the highway once again, they said, you know what, hey, we're all done, ceasefire's on the table, we can talk about that now. Because Turkey was probably asking them for a long time, hey, ceasefire, what's going on? We saw Turkey calling out to the international community, hey, Russia's moving in here, we need your help, we need your support, all this stuff. And then the US is like, oh, okay, we're going to give you money to go and back Al-Qaeda and like all this shit. Well, now that they got what they wanted, which was the M5 highway, they're saying, okay, ceasefire's on the table, we're good to go, 12 o'clock tonight, no more fighting. Will that actually mean no more fighting? Who knows? Another thing that happened about 2 days ago, I didn't report on it because I was busy with my friend, but those rebels, just like the HTS and the FSA in the north, those rebels that were south of Damascus have accepted a reconciliation deal in North Dara, which was after pro-government forces tried to dislodge them from those villages, and then they just launched a massive counterattack that the government forces were not willing to press any further into. I remember a couple days ago, I was looking like, if this continues, these cities are going to be destroyed, like absolutely destroyed, like Aleppo and Damascus back in the day. And that's actually what we see in the eastern part, still west of the Euphrates River, in pro-Assad government territory. We see ISIS still has plenty of territory. This gray that you see, it's because they are not trying to spark any more fighting, especially with ISIS or especially with Al-Qaeda. Those guys will fight to the death, and you can't destroy the ideology, just let them have their small little pocket. Maybe that's what they're going to do in Idlib. Hey, Idlib, whatever. That's like Turkish area. Fuck it, We got the M5 highway. They can all stay there. As long as they stay there, no fighting occurs. ISIS, hey, you guys can keep that little area. South of Damascus and Dara, hey, you guys just control those little villages, whatever. I think that's going to be the future of Syria. I think that's how it's going to have to be in Iraq as well. As we see in southern Iraq, there's still ISIS there. You can't destroy the ideology. You can't, and it's sad because those ideologies are obviously terrible, but you can't destroy it. That's how Syria's going to have to be. And I think the government forces are playing it pretty well. They want to wrap this conflict up, and they know that, we can't wrap it up with 100% territory taken, because obviously the YPG controls half of Syria. We have this. I think overall, what's happened during the civil war is positive. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that? I think it's positive in the outlook that has occurred. It's that people disagree. Al-Qaeda, they will always do actions, but the idea of it is just to continue to put down the sleeper cells, continue to stop those threats. And in YPG territory right now, we saw one of the U.S. generals talking to the YPG commanders, and They're talking about how there's still ISIS, and they want to, help contain that threat. So the U.S. is still saying, you know what, we're gonna protect you guys from ISIS. If we look in southern Ypg territory, it looks like a hospital was raided by ISIS, a bunch of people killed. It's still a threat. It's still gonna be a threat for 100 years to come. But this is gonna be the future of Syria, and I think overall this was kind of positive. And I mean, Turkey still has those refugees. They still have those that 4 million man strong refugee thing to put on the table in the European Union, saying, hey, help us, support us, give us money. They got what they wanted in a large part. The Russians got what they wanted in a large part. The YPG, ISIS, they're not completely defeated. So they're going to be sort of happy just staying within their land in Assad's territory and in Iraq. And you can see me sort of struggle when I talk about it. But it would be perfect if Syria just had one government and it was all good. But this is the Middle East. So hey, that's what we're looking at today. Big news. Tomorrow I think we'll have even bigger news. Will the ceasefire stand? So anyway, subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.
Disappointed in myself. If you don't take that off, I've been told that sometimes it won't fit back in properly. Again, that's an armory thing. Just give it a nice little scrub with the brush, scrub all of that, scrub all the pieces.